Terence Crawford defended his WBO welterweight championship by knocking out Kell Brook in 4 rounds. So what is next for Bud? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. What is up, you guys? Fight Fiend Migs here, coming at you with a new video. As always, thanks for taking the time to stop by and checking it out. Today, I kind of want to make a short video about Terence Crawford. Saturday night, he defended his WBO welterweight championship by knocking out Kell Brook in 4 rounds. At the end of the night, Crawford proved what we kind of already knew, that Kell Brook didn't belong in the ring with him. Kell Brook is kind of a shell of himself. He looked fantastic at the weigh-ins. He hadn't made 147 in a couple of years, and I was a little concerned that he was going to be able to make the 147 limit, but he did. And he didn't look like gaunt on the scale or anything. He looked pretty damn good. So it looked intriguing for a little bit. I was like, yeah, as the fight was getting closer, I'm like, you know what, maybe Brook can hang in there. But to Brook, to his credit, I actually had him winning the first 2 rounds. So, he didn't look too out of place. It looked close. Bernardo Osuna said this, it looked close until it wasn't. And, Crawford took him out. So bottom line is, Crawford was just way too much for Brook and defended his WBO welterweight championship. So the reason I wanted to make this video was, what now for Bud? There's been a lot of things being said and written online, videos that I've watched already. During the post-fight press, or not the press conference, the post-fight fight interview that Bernardo Osuna was doing with Crawford and Arum, he asked, Bernardo flat out asked, like, what's in your future? What's next? And well, one of the things he said first was, we all know that the mega fight that we're all looking for is Crawford and Spence, right? So how do we make that happen? And Crawford immediately turned to Arum and let Arum answer, right? So Bob went into full promoter mode, talking about how great of a welterweight Bud is and how he would be competitive against the likes of Hearns and Leonard. And, right now the other welterweights are not competitive, when it comes to Crawford, and that Errol Spence is basically trying to avoid him for as long as he can, at least, because he knows that Crawford will possess. So we didn't get a yes or no answer out of him. He basically went into full promoter mode at that point. But then Crawford was asked this, and Crawford pretty much said, we're going to try to secure a Manny Pacquiao fight. So once again, we are at the point in professional boxing that has happened far too many times that I care to mention, and I've already lost count. The mega fight that we all want, we're not going to get. This is one of the reasons why I'm such a big fan of MMA and the UFC in particular. It just so happens that the majority of the best fighters are under the same umbrella, the UFC, and therefore we get to see the fights that we want to see more often. That's not to say it doesn't happen in boxing, because it has happened. As a matter of fact, Osuna during that interview brought up the example. Well, we had Fury and Wilder, who are top rank and PBC guys, and we made that shit happen, didn't we? Clearly what the fuck happened there. So the way Bob Arum made it seem, Spence is trying to avoid Crawford. So that being said, it kind of sounds like they're going in a completely different direction, and they're kind of forgetting about Spence. So that leaves us fans deprived of, again, another super fight that we all want to fucking see. And from what I've read online and even videos, Tim Bradley suspects that the fight's not even going to happen at all. If it does happen, it's going to happen when both Spence and Crawford are past their prime. It sucks. He wants the fight to happen. Of course, Bradley I'm talking about, but he's like, the way I see it, we already know, it's not going to happen. So from what Crawford has said, they damn near had a fight secured with Manny Pacquiao. As a matter of fact, Bob Arum mentioned this as well in the Middle East, and they weren't sure if they were going to be able to get fans in the arena, so that got scrapped. But they were pretty close to it. Supposedly the money was there. I've even read that the money wasn't there. So I guess you can believe whoever you want to believe. But that seems to be the direction they're going. Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford sometime in the spring of 2021. Now, there's a few things that I've read online which are kind of troubling, because I feel like we all feel like we've been here before with the boxer not being on good terms necessarily with their promoter, being at odds, clashing heads. Most recently with Canelo and Golden Boy Promotions, Oscar De La Hoya, and DAZN, of course. And it's not even the first time this has happened to Bob Arum and Top Rank. We've seen this happen with Mikey Garcia and Top Rank, Oscar De La Hoya himself, Floyd Mayweather. Now we're seeing it with Terence Crawford. He's not pleased that, Top Rank isn't able to secure him the fights that we want to see him fight. We want to see him fight the PBC guys. Who's to blame here? Is it the PBC that isn't going to allow, Danny Garcia or Porter or Thurman, fight? Thurman supposedly outpriced himself. What's going on here? Who do we believe? But one of the things I wanted to mention was a couple of things that Bob Arum has said since then that you'll see here on your screen momentarily. When Bob was asked about keeping Terence Crawford in Top Rank, first he says he's got to promote like Lopez does, like Shakur does, like Mayweather did, Pacquiao did. If he doesn't, then who the fuck needs him? He may be the greatest fighter in the world, but but hey, I ain't going bankrupt promoting him. Okay. So I mean that doesn't sound too nice, right? Coming from a promoter, Bob Arum is supposed to have your back, right? He went on to say this about Terence. He was asked, Bob Arum, was asked last night about keeping Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford's contract ends in October of 2021 with Top Rank. He has said, the question is, do we want to keep him? I could build a house in Beverly Hills on the money I've lost on him in the last 3 fights. So that's pretty fucked up. That's not cool to say about your fighter, but, we're talking about Bob Arum here. It's like when he's on camera, he tells you one thing, and when he's on camera and he's right next to Crawford, he'd be like, oh, Spence, he's trying to stay away from me. He's trying to avoid. And then, when Spence is, or when Crawford isn't around and he asked, he's like, who fuck needs him? If he's not going to promote himself, I can build a house in Beverly Hills from all the money I've lost in his last 3 fights. So what does that sound like? It sounds like these guys are not going to be, re-signing with one another, or Crawford is not going to be, re-upping that contract come October 2021. Timothy Bradley has said that he suspects that even if Crawford leaves Top Rank and goes to PBC, that we still won't get that fight. Seems unlikely, if they're under the same umbrella, they're under the same promotional banner, one would think that they're going to be fighting against one another, right? But he says that PBC is going to still try to, protect, for lack of a better term, protect Spence. But those are really like fucked up things to say for Bob to have said about Crawford. It already sounds like he's expecting Crawford to leave. Like they're not going to be able to come to some sort of agreement come October 2021, and he's expecting him to leave. And he's kind of sort of burying him on the way out. It's almost like, yeah, don't let the door hit you on the fucking way out. Which is pretty jacked up, because Crawford, he's considered one of the top pound for pound guys and the number one on a lot of people's lists. I think, as a matter of fact, Max Kellerman has him number 1 pound for pound. So you would think that he would want to keep him, but it's almost like Bob is trying to blame 2 different people here. It's not him, because he's trying to make the fights, right? Him and Top Rank are definitely trying to make the fights, but it's PBC. It's the PBC guys who are just trying to avoid Crawford. And it's Crawford for not promoting himself the way Lopez is, or the way Shakur is, or the way Manny did, or Floyd did. So those are pretty harsh words, I would say. I feel it's starting to look like Crawford is going to end up leaving Top Rank. I think from what Bob Arum has said, it sounds like that's what he's feeling, and he suspects it's going to happen, and he's going to end up, he's trying to bury him on the way out and trying to lessen Crawford, which sucks, because right now he's talking him up like a motherfucker, saying that he's, the greatest welterweight right now. He's the best number 1 welterweight in the world, and he still turns around and says this to the media. So, what do you guys think is next for Bud? We all know that the mega fight that we all want to see is him and Spence. Spence, come December 5th, has Danny Garcia. A couple of months ago, I actually made a video regarding this fight when it was signed, which you can see here, that I was kind of concerned about what condition Errol Spence is going to be come that fight. right off the bat, I got a ton of heat from viewers leaving comments talking about I'm already building in an excuse for Spence if he loses. For the record, I'm not necessarily the biggest Spence fan. I was rooting for Mikey Garcia when he fought Garcia, so I mean I'm not on the bandwagon. I'm really not, but you have to take that in consideration. If we don't want to take the accident into consideration, then we're pretty much we don't know what Spence is going to show up that night, and to completely ignore that accident would be a big mistake, I think, because we don't know which Spence we're gonna see. Are we gonna see the old Spence, or are we gonna see a different Spence? As it hope maybe a better Spence for all we fucking know. Who the hell knows? But we're not sure, because Danny Garcia, I wasn't too pleased with this one. I wasn't really looking forward to this one. When it first got signed, I was like, "Fuck, really, Danny? All right, no, we're not gonna get it." Spence and Crawford was like, "All right, I guess we're gonna get Danny." But Danny has a very powerful left hand. He's got boxing, IQ, very good boxing IQ actually, which he probably doesn't get as much credit for. He has quite the chin. At 140 when he fought Lucas Matisse landed some fucking shots on him, and he took him. Porter's landed some shots on him, and he took him. So he's got definitely got himself a chin. Danny Garcia, I'm talking about. So we don't even know if Spence is going to get past Danny. We don't know that yet. So already we're going to have that that monkey wrench in the potential Spence and Crawford fight. But as long as both guys continue winning, I have to feel like they are eventually going to fight. I feel like it's 2021 or nothing, like it's then or never. But hopefully that ends up happening. I'm not sure how that. I'm going to post a video in regards to my prediction, in the coming weeks or so, because December 5th is rapidly approaching, and I'm going to make a video for the Spence and Garcia prediction. But we don't know. Garcia, or I'm sorry, Spence was thrown out of his fucking car. You know what I'm saying? He had his teeth knocked out, and he had to get new teeth put in, artificial teeth, right? And he needed to wait until the bolts healed before they even put in the teeth, and then he can start training, and then he can start sparring. So I mean, Danny Garcia fought in January, and I think Spence hadn't fought since like last what was it, November, I think it was. So that's we don't know what Spence is going to show up, and that's what concerns me. And I'm legitimately not trying to have a built-in excuse for Spence, because I don't want to necessarily just blame the car accident if he does lose against Garcia. But we have to see how he loses. We have to see how he looks, because that can't be ignored. If we watch this fight and it happens and Garcia wins in a way where we're like, you know what, that Spence doesn't look the same. It doesn't look like the previous Spence. We have to think that, yeah, I'm sure part of it was Garcia, but we have to think that the car accident had something to do with it. We can't put the whole blame on it. I mean, or can we put the whole blame on? Fuck, I don't know. But anyway, that's kind of what I was thinking. I just kind of want to make a short video to throw in my 2 cents. I feel like we're gonna get, eventually, Spence and fucking Crawford. But the way it's looking like, obviously next year, right, 2021. But it's looking like Spence, or I'm sorry, like Crawford is going to be leaving Top Rank, because Bob Arum just isn't cutting it. Giving them these guys, fighters that are kind of like already broken. There's been a lot of talk about some of his recent opponents, Crawford's. I mean, the 2 broken or cracked orbital bones for Brooke. And then was it? I think it was Benavidez was like on one leg. He had a knee brace for some fucking issue that he had on his leg. And then Amir Khan, who's pretty much already shot. So he's taking on these guys and he's doing his part and he's winning. But I mean, I don't know how much credit he's getting for those victories, because these guys are kind of already considered broken. But hopefully we get the fight that we want, Spence and Crawford, and hopefully he gets Spence gets past Garcia. But I mean, you know what? Even if Garcia fucking wins, I wouldn't mind seeing Garcia and Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Like to be honest, any of the PBC guys I would love to see against Crawford. But I mean, I guess it would depend how Garcia wins. But if he beats Spence, I wouldn't be he beats Spence, he gets 2 belts, and unifies with Crawford. That doesn't seem not too shabby. I'd be down for that one. I think I would be down for that one. But of course, the fight that we want is Spence and Crawford. And if that doesn't happen, I guess the next best thing would be Garcia and Crawford. But on that end, we don't know who's going to win with, Spence and Danny. And then on this end, it already sounds like Terence Crawford has his eyes set on Manny Pacquiao in the Middle East next year. So it's tough to say. But anyway, I just kind of want to throw in my 2 cents there and talk about the fucked up things that Bob Arum was talking about. And by all means, guys, let me know what you guys think. Are we gonna get Spence and Crawford, or is it gonna be another one of these Pacquiao Mayweathers where we're not gonna get the fight until 5 fucking years down the line when these guys are way past their prime? Or are we gonna get the fight? Or are we gonna get maybe a better fight with Garcia and Crawford? Maybe let me know what you guys think. I will definitely post a video regarding my my prediction for Spence and Garcia in the coming weeks. And before I end the video, I always want to sneak in freshcleantees.com. If you guys feel free to check them out, and if you happen to like anything, make sure to use the code MIGS15 at checkout and get 15% off your purchase. All right, cool. So once more, guys, thank you so much for checking out my video. By all means, let me know what you guys think. I always like hearing you guys' opinions. Have yourselves a great night, day, morning, whatever time of the day you happen to be watching this. And I will see you guys next week. I'm sure I'll post another video next week. So I will see you guys next week. Peace.